one of the better teams to be in Dokkan Battle for sure has to be the Kamehameha team. If you guys have been playing this game for a long while, you'll know that most of the premium Dokkan Fest LRs tend to end up on this category team, and overall it is, I would say, is probably just more one of the fun teams to run in the game, as most of the hype units that come out are like featured on this team. So I figured now with AGL Super Saiyan 2 Gohan going ahead and getting his Easy A earlier, I think it was last week, I figured we could go ahead and take a look at this 180% lead on one of the best teams with some of the best units on the game. Unfortunately, we do not have LR Ultimate Gohan, but I don't really see him making his place too well on this team, as just like with the link sets with everybody. You know, you see me right there. I'm checking out the categories on LR Gohan. You guys can just see it is an exuberant amount. Like, he just has so many teams, right? But you guys are going to be seeing, like I said, one of the best teams in the game going ahead and going to work. We have a lot to talk about, just with the way that this team is set up and just kind of how good that this team has. I would say that the best way to describe the Kamehameha team is just a little bit of everything. When you think of like gimmicks and mechanics that Dokkan units have, just the way they've been setting them up over the last like 2 or 3 years, I would say that the Kamehameha team encompasses just about every good thing that the game has to offer with units, right? You think about just the amount of stacking options we have on this team. I think there are, so let's just go ahead and look at the units that like stack defense, right? We have AGL LR Gohan, we have Tech Revival Carnival Goku, we have the LR Gods, and we have the LR Super Saiyan 4s. And so we have 2 AGL Gohans running on this team, right? So at the time, 5 of the 7 units are stackers, and then not to mention we also have a unit like Super Saiyan 4 Goku, when linked up with the LR Super Saiyan 4s, is spitting out like 10 million attack stats, then also can counter supers and stuff like that, and also has a extra key per AGL orbs and rainbow orbs, and you're just looking at a really deadly combo. Now that I think about it, it might just be AGL orbs that they get the extra key on, maybe not rainbow orbs, but nonetheless, he gets extra key, so it's easy to get those 24 key super attacks off, right? So the damage reduction support that Kid Goku can supply with the rainbow orb changing that he does, it's if he gets 7 orbs as well as 3 rainbow orbs, that is maximizing himself. So that's kind of how you look at Kid Gohan. That's like when he comes out on global, you guys are going to want to be looking for 7 orbs with 3 rainbow orbs to get the most out of him, right? So you guys are looking at the kind of defensive prowess of giving some of the best units in the game that have, you know, all these uber attack stats and defensive stats. Also additional damage reduction. You're just looking at something that the Kamehameha team brings to the table that not many teams can. You think of some of the other best teams in the game, you look at movie heroes, it is very similar, kind of how you would set it up with defensive sets. You would have units like Piccolo on the team, you'd have units like LR Ultimate Gohan on the team, you have the Gammas, you have Hachan, he's coming to global very soon, you have Kid Goku who's coming to global very soon. And now, if you want to run the Tech LR Gods lead, you could also run AGL Super Saiyan 2 Gohan on that team, or AGL Super Saiyan Gohan that transforms, right? You run him on the team as well with the Hachan, and he can transform because he has an androids category or ally. So, you know, really just the potential of some of these teams is just kind of incredible, right? So, main rotations that you're going to be seeing in this video before Physical Cell goes ahead and does his lock in the final phase will be AGL LR Gohan with a Carnival Goku, and then you'll be seeing LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta paired up with LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Now, we went ahead and went into a kind of hard event being Collection of Epic Battles. These guys are not a pushover with how hard they hit. A cell can really mess you up if you get caught. So I was like, let me go into moderately difficult content just to kind of showcase the team in a difficult setting. And then, you know, you guys can just kind of see, like, if this team could take on this Collection of Epic Battle stuff, surely you can go ahead and look at it in, like, Red Zone Broly. You can look at it in, like, Red Zone Omega. Maybe not, like, this specific team build exactly, but some form of setup with the Kamehameha team is really going to set you up nicely, especially when these guys do come to global, whatever that may be. I know it's kind of a meme at this point, but eventually they will be on global, right? And Cell is also, like, you know, if you had, like, a setup, you could unironically run Cell. So overall, you're just looking at a team that has all of the offense in the world. It has a lot of defense. This is nowhere near the tankiest team in the game, but when you're looking at a balance of offense and defense, it's hard to find a team that kind of gives you the best of both worlds the way this one does, right? You guys are just seeing so much power and so, like, you know, so much being thrown at you at once, and it's really tough for bosses to withstand these attack stats. So, like, let's do the math right here, right? Maybe Super Saiyan 4, the LR Super Saiyan 4 just take care of business and get rid of him in one turn. But let's think about this. We have a 7.1 million attack stat right there, and then I don't know if we have a guaranteed additional, but mine has 32 additional, so good chance we do another one, right? So there you go, 4.9, could be 5. This is also not on a 200% leader skill. So you're looking at the damage, and then here we go. This is like an option I think really what makes this team the most impressive, yeah, so here we go, perfect. Like you guys are going to see right here, right? Let's go ahead and see how much damage this does after a double super. I don't think it does anything. I don't think this guy hits hard at all. Yeah, 49 damage, thanks. And then you have 8.45, right? And this, again, is not on a 200% leader skill, so you can get an additional 20% attack on these attack stats. But the purpose of this specific setup was to show you guys double LR Gohans, but also being able to throw everybody on the same team together, right? What we could have done, in theory looking back, is run the same team, but with double LR Gods. But what I wanted to do was show you that if you want to run double AGL, like this is just like, I straight up, I don't want to do like finicky stuff. I just want to do, this is the Kamehameha team, not the Power of Beyond Super Saiyan team slash movie heroes that happen to be Kamehameha. If you want to run all the units on Kamehameha, you can do this, right? So you see, that was kind of like a moment of me pausing and being like, I should have just run double LR Gods, but at the same time, I want to be able to get 2 of AGL LR Gohan in here. So that's why I did what I did, right? You could run like a 200% for everybody and then a 180, but you could go, you know, 200, 180, but I just decided to go double 180, right? It's whatever, it'll work. This team is like, this is, you know, the purpose of it, right? So you guys will be seeing just like you're watching just how crazy that this team can look. I'd say that the weak links are kind of, it's kind of crazy to say, but like the 7 years when they don't have that guard on like that turn 3 window, like if you talk to someone who does not believe in the 7-year LRs, that is exactly why. You look at the turn where they don't have the guard active, they take a super from the hardest hitting bosses in the game, they're like, oh, they're fraudulent, right? But I'm here to tell you that is not the case. These units are still absolutely top 10 in the game. If they aren't, if they're not top 10, they're top 11, they're top 12, right? There's just so much that these guys are doing with offense, and the defense is respectable enough where you also have a defensive mechanic when you transform where you have the nullification on these attacks, which is such a big deal. Like, attack nullifying is one of the most overpowered mechanics in the game because you can just straight up get rid of a super. You might not know where it is, but what if you have the scouter with like a unit like Tech Gogeta or STR Vegito? You find the super, and then you take one of these 7-year LRs when they're in their transform state and nullify that attack, if you can, right? Like, it's not always a guarantee you're going to be able to nullify the super, but when you can nullify that super, it's just such a huge deal because super is like 90% of the time, like, it's just the way you lose, right? Unless you are going into like the hardest hitting bosses in the game and running like a type disadvantage enemy, normals just aren't what kill you in these fights, right? It's always the, you know, the locked in super slot one where you can't do anything about it because the super's hitting for 950k and there's just absolutely nothing you can do. Not with normals, right? These units are designed to the point where normal attacks, especially after supering, normal attacks usually are not going to do that much unless the boss just hits super hard. Like, we're talking like the new Red Zone Cell Max hits really hard, the Cell Max event in itself, like Red Zone Cooler Core, stuff like that. Like, these are just units that are built to be able to take normals anyway, and then the super is what can screw them, right? So if you can nullify that, then it's just really hard to deal with it. And then again, for the boss to be able to really take you down. And then the last thing that I'm kind of saving here, when I say a little bit of everything, if you also look on the bottom bar next to turn 2, you can see we have a revival. So in addition to damage reduction support, guarding, stacking, attack nullification, active skills, support, right? Transformations, everything, right? Orb changing. We also have a revival. So, you know, we're talking, this team is doing 8 to 9 different things on any given rotation, and that's just kind of the way that it's set up. So here is one of those cases where it could get a little dicey, right? The problem with what this setup you're looking at right here is if Cell, so here's the thing, right? If if Cell supers Goku and he doesn't counter it, we're done, right? Because it's going to do too much. So Cell's going to give up 2 million, then he does 77k per normal right there. So there we go. And now we have to, you know, Goku's going to get that 100% rate as well as 12 key. So we should be looking at like, what, like 260k defense or so after one super? Because I think he had like maybe 320, something like that. I think he had like 160k defense, something like that. So now we counter the super, so we're good. So whatever damage we take, we should be fine. And then a 1 million damage counter. So there you go. 1.2. And then 7.6 on these guys. And they could potentially get more. They're not even a 24 key. So we're looking at like an 8 million attack stat with a guaranteed additional, a chance to crit, don't even need it when you have that much, and then there you go. So now we're in this predicament where I was talking about. This is a nice showcase to show you everything that this team is capable of. So here we go. You guys can see the little heart up on the black boxes. That means the revival's active. So now we can go ahead and bring this guy out, and then I think we do this active skill because I'm like, I might not have a chance to use it again in the video. So we pop that, take away 3 of his HP bars, and now the beauty of Carnival Goku, and this is why he's one of the best units in the game, without a doubt to me, is because he has this ability with the revival. Now, if anybody on the team ends up dying for us, in this case it's going to be LR Gohan, he revives, right? Like if you think of a unit like Physical Metal Cooler, it has to be him that takes the finishing blow. And you know, the way his defense builds up, it'll be sometimes you'll get caught in a case where you can't use it. And right here, you guys are seeing that's the beauty of Mr. Carnival Goku is, you know, Gohan could take the super and it doesn't matter because Carnival Goku's still proccing the revive anyway. So now we have a situation where we have like a double guarding setup with Gohan and Goku. Then we also have a beefy big numbers attack stat group with Goku, or this LR Super Saiyan 4s and Super Saiyan 4 Goku. We also have the damage reduction support, and now we have dodge chance, damage reduction with orbs with the 7-year LRs, all that fun stuff. And we also have an active skill with Super Saiyan 4 Goku that is a pretty hard hitting one. So I think right here I end up making a little bit of a misplay, because I didn't think this was going to kill. So now Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is going to get floated off, but Super Saiyan 4 Goku crits for 6.2 million on that active skill. So I'm like, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to build up a little bit more with Gohan, right? So now we find ourselves in a bit of a situation, but thankfully, again, why this team is so good is the things that it's all the little things that this team does. Gohan has been building up this entire fight since we started with the perfect form cell. So, you know, we're on our 3rd time probably seeing this Gohan right here on turn 6. So he's had some time to build up that attack. He would have had more if he would have not gotten supered in slot 1 on the the big angry cell mode. But we also now we have a Dokkan attack with Gohan that's going to be hitting for, I think it's like 8.3. So now we have a Dokkan attack. I had to transfer devices, but that's why the tutorial popped up. But we have an 8.4 million Dokkan attack. So, you know, whatever damage this does, if this crits, it's doing over 8 million damage, right? So now Cell is in a predicament where this is going to be a hard-hitting attack, and there's not much he can do because Goku, I believe Kid Goku only has defense for damage reduction for himself right here, but in theory, if you play this out, this Gohan's also could, in theory, have that extra damage reduction on top of the 8.3 million that he does. And then also, he usually does a double or a triple super. So 10.2 million, and he doesn't do a double super right there, but usually he does. So the Kamehameha team really is overwhelming. I would say it's on the verge of being unfair. There's only so much you can do when units are this good offensively, defensively, and this is with 100% without items. We don't need to use items when we're using this team. Eventually, like a run will go our way. So if you don't have like the dupe levels on your Gohans or whatever, if you're missing Carnival Goku or what have you, you could use items and go around that. And this team just really is not fair. So let me know what you guys think of the Kamehameha team down below. This team is a blast to use, but that's all I got for you in this one. Don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy, subscribe if you are new, and turn on notifications so you don't miss on any of my Dokkan battle content. Have a great day, everybody. I'm out.